It had all the signs of being simple, didn't it? Everything was lined up, every piece in place. A transfer deal sorted the path, clear the destination. Obvious. Rangers looked ready to close one more door in their ongoing summer rebuild and take a proper step forward with a move that felt like a formality. But of course, in football, nothing ever seems to go the way it should. Just when the fans were beginning to relax, thinking this one was done and dusted, it's all turned murky again. Now, instead of moving on, the club finds itself tangled in fresh complications that no one saw coming. And they couldn't have come at a worse time. For weeks now, behind the scenes, it looked like progress. Quiet progress, sure, but definite progress. The kind that makes you think it's only a matter of time before it's official. Supporters were ready to turn the page, and the feeling inside Ibrox was one of quiet confidence. The paperwork seemed all but done. All sides were supposedly on the same page. The player had a new destination, and the fee was agreed. But now, we're back in limbo. Not because the clubs couldn't agree, and that part sorted, but because there's still a very important piece of the puzzle missing: the player's signature. And that little detail, as it turns out, is proving more difficult than anyone expected. It's a tough pill to swallow for Russell Martin, who's right in the thick of trying to reshape this squad for the upcoming campaign. He's come in with fresh energy and a clear vision, and this transfer, meant to be one of several key moves, now feels like it's dragging when it should be finalized. Martin's plans are all about building a team that fits his style and system, and delays like this just throw a spanner in the works. It's not just about the player in question either. It's about timing, momentum, and being able to move on, all to the next target. Every stalled deal means less clarity, and in a summer that's all about transition, Rangers can't afford uncertainty. Now let's be honest, this whole situation was supposed to be straightforward. We're talking about Robin Prapper, the Dutch defender who came to Glasgow last season with expectations of steady leadership and experience at the back. A $1.5 million move, a sensible bit of business at the time, especially with Connor Goldson stepping away. At 31 years old, Prapper was seen as someone who could slot in and get the job done. Not flashy, but solid. That was the thinking at least. But things never quite clicked for him in the Scottish game. He made appearances, sure, 27 in the league, even chipped in with a couple of goals. But anyone who watched closely could see it wasn't quite right. The physicality of Scottish football caught him off guard. The aggression, the speed, the constant pressure. It's a different world compared to what he was used to in the Netherlands, and it showed. He looked uncomfortable at times, a bit off the pace, and never really managed to take command of the backline like he was brought in to do. So with a new manager and a new direction, it was always likely he'd be one of the names on the way out. Rangers are trying to refresh, rebuild, and prepare for a big season both domestically and in Europe. And for Prapper, a return to familiar ground made perfect sense. FC Twente, the club where he made his name, where he wore the captain's armband. Where he truly belonged, came calling. It felt like a perfect fit. The clubs reached an agreement. The Dutch fans were even expecting him to be unveiled at a recent open day. Everything pointed to a happy return. And then, silence. No photos, no welcome video, no scarf above the head moment. Nothing. Just quiet. And that silence quickly turned into frustration. Turns out while the clubs had everything sorted, the contract wasn't quite there yet. Prapper still has 3 years left on his deal with Rangers, and going back to 20 would mean a significant pay cut. Understandably, he's not keen to walk away from a deal that still guarantees him a healthy wage. So unless Twente find a way to bridge that financial gap, whether by covering part of his contract or negotiating some kind of compensation, the whole move stalls. And that's exactly where we're at now. It's a mess, and unfortunately, it's not the only one Rangers are dealing with this week. There's also the situation with Judy Gassama, the young winger from Sheffield Wednesday. That move had all the signs of being done. He was spotted in Rangers gear at St. George's Park, even training with the squad. Everyone thought it was just a matter of hours before the club made it official. But again, it's hit a wall. This time not because of the player or Rangers, but because of complications at Sheffield Wednesday. Reports suggest the delay is linked to ownership issues at the English club, with controversial figure Dujon Sterling still holding the pen on official business. There's talk of a possible takeover in the background, and until that gets sorted, paperwork is apparently not getting signed. So like the Prapper situation, the Gassama deal is hanging in the balance. So close to being over the line, but not quite there yet. And it's a headache Russell Martin could really do without. Every day that goes by without resolution is a day lost in preseason preparation. The manager's got a vision for how he wants his team to play, a more possession-heavy, fluid approach, and he needs the right players in the door early to make that happen. These delays mean less time on the training pitch with the full group and less time to build the chemistry needed for early competitive matches. Speaking of which, Rangers are getting ready for a massive challenge right out the gate, a Champions League showdown with Panathinaikos. That's Martin's first proper test as head coach, and he'll want every advantage he can get. The squad is already starting to take shape with several signings completed, but without key deals like Proper's exit and Gassama's arrival, there's still work to be done. Martin knows that. He said as much, and when asked about the goalkeeper situation, he was honest. Jack Butland and Liam Kelly are both in the mix, and Martin's been putting them through their paces at St. George's Park alongside Mason Munn and Kieran Wright. But there's no guarantee that's the final goalkeeping group. He's still assessing, still open to new additions, and Brighton's Carl Rushworth is one name on the radar. Supporters have questions about whether Butland suits the style Martin wants, particularly with the ball at his feet. And while the managers praised both Butland and Kelly for their attitude and work ethic, he's made it clear that the door isn't closed to competition. If someone comes along who's desperate to wear the shirt and can raise the level, Martin won't hesitate. It's that kind of summer for Rangers. Everything's under the microscope. Every detail matters, and every delay feels 10 times bigger than it might in a quieter window. The rebuild isn't just about signing names. It's about finding the right mix, the right balance, and moving quickly enough to be ready when the real football begins. And that means getting deals done. Simple as that. Now, beyond all that, there's still the uncertainty surrounding other potential targets. Luke de Jong's name keeps popping up with whispers that he might be tempted by a move to Ibrox. The experienced Dutch striker is still training with PSV, but not with the main group, and questions about his future keep growing. His current manager, Peter Bosz, admitted recently that nothing's decided. De Jong hasn't committed to staying, but he hasn't said he's leaving either. That kind of limbo always raises eyebrows, especially when a club like Rangers is involved. The veteran forward could bring leadership experience and a proper presence up front, something that could make a massive difference in both the league and Europe. At the same time, Rangers fans are also keeping a close eye on the Connor Cody situation. The Leicester City centre-back has been strongly linked with a move to Glasgow, and although he played in a recent friendly for the Foxes, there are signs that something might be bubbling under the surface. Jack Butland posted some pictures from training on Instagram talking about a strong week of work with the squad, and one of the first likes came from Cody. Make of that what you will, but in the modern game, social media always gives away little clues. The truth is, when you're trying to build something from scratch, you need momentum. And right now, Rangers are trying to build more than just a team. They're rebuilding a culture, an identity, and a sense of purpose that's been missing in patches over recent years. Russell Martin knows he doesn't just need players who can tick boxes on paper. He needs lads who are hungry, who understand what it means to wear that badge, and who are ready to fight for every inch. And that's why these stalled deals, these moments of waiting, they don't just delay a signature, they delay a whole project. The modern game is ruthless. Supporters don't have time or patience for slow progress, and honestly, who can blame them? This is a fan base used to demanding the best use to fighting for every trophy on offer. And right now, they're watching their rivals across the city gear up for another strong campaign. Every hour that passes without clarity feels like ground being lost. And Russell Martin knows it. His interviews have been calm, composed, but you can hear it between the lines. He wants this squad sorted, and he wants it sorted now. There's a lot of expectation on this team, a lot of pressure too. After all, it's not just about finishing second anymore. That's not the standard. The goal this season is crystal clear. Bring the league title back to Ibrox. And to do that, Rangers can't afford to enter the campaign half ready. They need every weapon sharp, every player on board, and every bit of internal drama resolved. That means getting the proper situation wrapped up one way or another. If Twente can't stump up the funds or bridge the wage gap, maybe another solution needs to be found. Because keeping a player who clearly isn't in the manager's plans helps no one. Not the player, not the club, not the dressing room. And then there's the Gassama case still frustratingly unresolved. It's another reminder that transfers aren't just about football anymore. They're tangled up in boardroom politics, ownership battles, and background noise that's got nothing to do with the game on the pitch. Martin's done his bit. The club has done its bit. But until Sheffield Wednesday gets its house in order, the deal remains stuck. Fans can only sit and hope it doesn't drag on too long, or worse, collapse completely. Meanwhile, while those negotiations hang in the air, the work on the pitch continues. The squad's been hard at it in pre-season, grinding through double sessions and getting to grips with the new ideas Martin's trying to implement. It's not just about tactics, it's about mentality. He wants a team that controls games, that takes responsibility in possession, and that plays on the front foot. That means pressing with intensity, keeping the ball with purpose, and staying calm under pressure. And for that, he needs players who are not just physically up to the task, but mentally sharp as well. That's where the goalkeeping situation becomes even more interesting. Jack Butland on paper has all the credentials. Former England international, big club experience, and plenty of presence between the sticks. But questions remain about whether he suits the way Martin wants his team to build from the back. Some fans have raised doubts, and with Liam Kelly showing he's more than capable, the battle for that number 1 jersey is well and truly on. Martin's stated himself he wants at least 2 top keepers, ideally 3. He's not closing the door on anyone, but he's also not afraid to make bold calls if someone else comes in who can do the job better. That's modern football. No room for sentiment. It's all about results. And right now, Martin's focus is on building a side that's ready to hit the ground running, because the challenges aren't going to wait. That Champions League qualifier against Panathinaikos is just around the corner. And that's not just a big match. It's a statement opportunity, a chance to show Europe and the support that this Rangers side means business. The financial rewards are massive, of course, but beyond that, it's about setting a tone. You win that tie, you lay down a marker. But to do that, the squad needs to be settled, and that's where time becomes the enemy. Every delay eats into preparation. Every drawn-out negotiation risks becoming a distraction, and you can feel that frustration among the support. They want clarity. They want to see signings walking through the door and players who aren't in the plans heading out. And to be fair, Martin seems to agree. He's not the kind of manager to play games or hide behind excuses. When he speaks, he's clear, honest. Maybe that's why the fans have warmed to him already. There's no fluff, no PR spin, just straight answers. Of course, some things are out of his hands. Like Luc de Jong, the big Dutch striker, has all the pedigree you'd want in a marquee signing. Former Barcelona, Sevilla, Newcastle. A real presence up front, a leader, a player with big game experience. And word is he hasn't made up his mind about where he wants to be this season. PSV boss Peter Bosz admitted as much recently, saying he's hopeful the striker stays, but that no decision's been made. For Rangers, that kind of uncertainty is both an opportunity and a risk. They're interested. The player is reportedly open to the idea. But until De Jong makes his call, there's not much more to be done. And so the waiting continues. Same with Connor Cody. The Leicester defender, who's been on the radar for a while now, could bring much needed leadership and stability to the backline. He's experienced, vocal, and knows how to organize a defense, something Rangers lacked at key moments last season. He's still training and even played a recent friendly for Leicester, but little signals, like him liking Butland's Instagram post, suggest his eyes might be drifting north. Nothing concrete yet, but the signs are there. The problem is, none of this is happening in a vacuum. While Rangers juggle these situations, Celtic are strengthening too. The margin for error is slim. Every signing, every departure, every injury, it all matters. And Martin knows he's being judged from day one. There's no grace period at a club like this. The fans want silverware, they want dominance, and they want progress. That's the weight of expectation that comes with the badge. But it's not all doom and gloom, far from it. There's a growing belief that Martin's ideas are taking root. Players are responding, training intensity is high, and there's a buzz starting to build. The style of football he's bringing in, more ball control, more intent, more ambition, has already been visible in friendlies. The squad's fitter, sharper, and there's clearly been a reset in attitude. It feels different this summer, more purposeful. And that's why it's so crucial these final pieces fall into place. Rangers are on the cusp of something. You can feel it. But they need to tidy up the loose ends, get the deals done, and go into the season with clarity and focus. No more half-finished business. No more distractions. The supporters deserve a team that's ready from day one. No excuses. So now the question is, can the club move fast enough to give Martin the tools he needs? Will Proper finally seal his return to Twente Will Gassama's deal? Get over the line. Could Dujon be tempted to make Ibrox his new home and is Cody the next piece in the defensive puzzle? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure. This summer is shaping up to be one of the most important in recent memory for Rangers, and what happens in these next few weeks could very well define the season ahead. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. There's growing buzz in Scottish football circles following comments from Celtic's manager Brendan Rodgers, who has hinted strongly that his team was unfairly treated in their latest clash with Rangers. The post-match atmosphere was thick with tension, and Rodgers didn't hold back, suggesting that the outcome may have been influenced by decisions that went against his side. While nothing has been officially confirmed, whispers around the sport suggest this could stir up quite the controversy in the coming days. Rodgers, known for his straightforward approach, was visibly frustrated after the match, implying that key calls on the pitch might have tipped the scales away from Celtic. Although he stopped short of accusing referees outright of bias, his remarks left fans and pundits speculating about possible injustices that may have shaped the game, in a fiercely contested fixture that often sets the tone for the Scottish Premiership. Any suggestion of unfairness is sure to ignite passionate debate. The rivalry between Celtic and Rangers is one of the most intense in football, and tensions often run high in their encounters. Given the significance of these fixtures, even the smallest perceived errors can fuel a media storm and spark discussions about the standard of officiating in the league. Rodgers' comments only add fuel to the fire, and some are already wondering whether this will lead to calls for review or changes in how matches between the two sides are overseen. Supporters of Celtic have latched on to Rodgers' statements, seeing them as validation of what they felt during the game. Meanwhile, Rangers fans are likely to dismiss the claims as sour grapes, setting the stage for heated exchanges on social media and in fan forums. As the debate rages on, questions loom over how the Scottish Football Association might respond, if at all, to these hints of controversial decisions. In the meantime, the footballing world watches closely, waiting to see if this situation develops into a larger saga. Will Rodgers push for official investigations? Could this impact future fixtures between the old firm rivals? Only time will tell. But for now, the suggestion that Celtic were robbed has certainly captured the imagination of the Scottish football community, sparking lively discussions across pubs, media outlets, and online platforms. It's clear that the latest chapter in this storied rivalry may be far from over. Greetings, fans! Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.